Okay, so it's Wayne DeFrancisco again, and right now we're going to take a look at Ben Hogan's swing, and I'm going to do my standard swing analysis on Hogan. I'm going to draw my lines. Again, back of the butt, front of the knees, on the shaft, top of the head, and front of the head, and then side of the hips, top of the head, sides of the head. Again, the idea is to get a reference point for the movement that happens during the swing. Now, it's good to note that the camera must be stationary on a tripod for this to work. If it's handheld and the camera moves anywhere, this analysis is a total waste of time. So let's take him up. You've heard a lot about Hogan's swing, I'm sure. There's a lot of secrets going around, but I'm just going to point out a few things that I think are quite interesting in Hogan's swing. The first would be in the takeaway, the hands go toward the body. So if you watch the grip, the entire grip now is just below that shaft plane line right here. That doesn't last for long because he's cocking the club up and the shaft will reach the shaft plane almost immediately. So a slightly inward movement. Now, as that inward movement happens, if you watch the derriere, it's going to emerge from where it is to behind that line. So the right cheek is getting deeper as he goes back, and at the same time Hogan's head is lowering. So there's the lowering up to the top, and this is the plane at the top of the swing. We see that that's at 61 degrees when his left arm was parallel to the ground. He was at 57, and at address he was at 54 or 53, so that's 4 up and another 4. Now from the top, Hogan lowers again. There's the second lowering, and it will happen right about down to where the hands are just above parallel to the ground when the shaft is there. You can see that the right hip remains deep. If you watch the leg movement, it is fairly symmetrical again. And when the hands move toward the ball, they come right back where they came from. You can see that the shaft has gone right into the shaft plane, and as it goes forward, it actually goes slightly under or left of the shaft plane. Hogan liked to hit a little slide cut. And then right in the box with the hips at the end. From the side view, this is a longer club, obviously. It looks like a driver. One of the few shots of Hogan on a still camera from a front angle that's usable. A lot of shots of Hogan, but not a lot of them were on a tripod and from a decent angle. Now let's take a look. So obviously moving a bit to the right. There's the right head movement there. Now that's in this particular swing. If you looked at some other swings, you definitely wouldn't see as much movement to the right, because Hogan liked to change his swing and do different things just like anybody else. You can see that the hips have swiveled in the box. The club is fairly well past parallel, which he was inclined to do all the way up past 1953. And here we get an example of the tremendous amount of forward push that Hogan had, even in a driver swing where you would figure it might be less. The head is right in the box, And there's the furthest left point, which he achieves when the left arm is just below 45 degrees. And then he will drive into it and push his hips forward to maintain that push to the furthest left point. Sequence-wise, you can see that he'll start to move his hips forward when the club is still moving backwards, and that's a hallmark of great athletic movement. Also, not a lot of swings of Hogan where the club is not blurry, so some of the stuff we have to kind of guess about, but you can pretty much see that there's plenty of lag in this swing. He hit the ball far for his size. So the interesting thing to me on this side is how Hogan uses the space by lowering and moving his right leg deeper and then maintaining the head position and creating a bunch of room for his arms and hands to come down. A lot of lateral movement in there for a driver, but you'll also note that by the time he hit the ball, he was well open. So you know that that hip movement from the start of the forward swing is working itself back into the left. And again, the interesting part of the pivot movement is the head movement, how it works down until just into impact where it lifts back up.